First time ever podcast. I've seen a lot of demand out there in the marketplace for people looking for new information to help them start, manage, and grow their businesses. And so much of that is connected with taxes and financial information that I thought I'd put together some information to help you do exactly that. My goal is to be big reference is to be the Harry Doyle of business growth. That's what I want to do, and that's why I am here to hopefully help you get better at what you do, smarter at how you do it, and richer for having done it properly. We're broadcasting from my palatial office in Marietta, Georgia, and I am ready to help you understand some of the challenges of business. I think the first thing I need to do, the first business challenge I have, is I have to figure out a name for my podcast, and I'm working on that. Hadn't quite got there yet. I will try real hard to get something done by next week, and we can get that taken care of. One of my goals here is to create something of value, so I'm tossing this out at no charge. Maybe looking at a small subscription service to get my podcasts out as soon as they come out into the market, and you will be the first person and people to access my information. So, what's going on with business, and what do you want to do, and what do you want to accomplish? That's the question here, and how can I help you? The first thing that we all like to talk about is information. And like I said, one of my favorite cliches is what is properly measured can be effectively managed. So that comes with a good bookkeeping or tax system that helps you understand where your money's coming from, where it's going, and most importantly, how much you're keeping and why you're getting to keep it, and what is the best way for you to take money out of your business in a tax advantage type situation. And we'll review that as time and days go by and we start analyzing what your business is. Unfortunately, one of the big traps that I see with businesses, and I know I'm jumping around a little bit, but that's the way it's got to be, is the first year, someone's in business, they don't make any money, so they don't owe any taxes. And then they go into the second year and they don't make any estimated tax payments, even though they make money. And then when that second year ends and we're into the third year, we file an extension. And by the time we get around to doing your taxes, you realize you are in a situation where you owe for the year number 2, you're 2/3 of the way through year number 3, and you got year number 4 knocking on the door. So if you don't get all these old situations cleared up, by the time you're in year 4, you're trying to pay 3 years worth of taxes with 1 year's worth of income. So we want to make sure that we do planning. So if you have started a business, and if you are starting to experience growth, and if you are concerned about seeing where you stand tax-wise, give me a call, come on in, and let's talk about it. Let's go over it, and let's make sure that we don't have surprises like that can be devastating or overwhelming. People come in and they show me notices that they're behind 3 and 4 or 5 years worth of taxes because they got behind at the beginning, and then it's almost impossible to catch up. Then they start getting these letters or calls or whatever from these crazy tax resolution companies. And as the IRS says, tax resolution is not let's make a deal. I had actually, that's a direct quote from an IRS agent. The whole idea behind tax resolution is for them to figure out how much money they can possibly get from you in the quickest manner possible. So beware of the people that want to charge you a great upfront fee to save money on and get your taxable income or taxes reduced, because that upfront money might be better spent putting a down payment down with the IRS. But enough for taxes now. Let's make sure we're planned. Let's make sure we understand, and let's not get behind. And I think that's the key. Once you're behind, it's crazy difficult to catch up. Now I think my next podcast is going to be some of my favorite business cliches that I have made up and what they mean and how you can use those to be more profitable. So I want you to wait and see, or look forward to seeing that come out, so we can put together circumstances and hypotheticals that will help you grow and manage your business. And that is what I really look forward to doing, because not only have I spent the last way many years of my life helping business owners, but I understand business owners. I've seen the commonality of mistakes, and I've seen how we can put things together in an orderly and concise manner to make sure that you don't make the common mistakes that other folks have made on their business side. What are some of the things that people are concerned with when they start a business? I think we can divide those and say there are four main obstacles or questions or issues that business owners have. Number one is they want more sales. They want to figure out how they can generate more revenue. How do they get more people in the door? And to me, a lot of that is defined on, let's free up some of your time so you can get out there and make sales and you're not sitting there doing administrative work. Let's put you in a position to do your best work at the best possible times and get that in. So let's free up your time. Let's get you out there. Let's have you making sales and growing your business. I think the second thing that people talk about all the time is cash flow. Oh, my cash flow stinks. Well, yes, probably because you're a small business owner, and sometimes as small business owners, we're dealing with a big company on this side who dictates their terms, and then the big company on this side that dictates their terms, and we're kind of squeezed in the middle. Your suppliers want you to pay cash, and then your customers want to pay you over 30 days. And so basically, the more you sell, the poorer you get, or the worse your cash flow becomes. How do we manage that? How do we dictate terms? How do we tell people how we want to get paid? That is a real concern, and can cause people to fail because they simply run out of money because they're getting squeezed on both ends about the financial terms of sales and purchases. So we're going to make sure we'll do that. Now, the other thing that people, or the third thing that people are concerned with is, how do I go about getting a bank loan? Well, you know what? If you have your paperwork in a shoebox and you're disorganized, and you don't know how much money you've made, you don't know where your money's coming from, you don't know where the bank is not going to take you seriously. But if you go to a bank with an organized business plan, with a budget, with a uses of funds statement that says, listen, I need to borrow X number of dollars because I want to do this, and this will increase my sales by that much, and I'll be able to pay that loan back. Well, guess what? All of a sudden the bank starts taking you seriously because you are a serious person and you do have that in there. And knowing how much you need is a huge part of that. And say, well, I need $1 million. Well, no, you don't. You need $500,000. No, you don't. You need $2 million. So let's figure out what you need the money for, and let's figure out a way for you to get it by dealing with a bank that understands the small business life and will get you the money you need to expand or manage your business. And I think that's number 3. We have to have information to give to a bank and walking in and saying, gee whiz, I think I need $500,000, is like I said, no way to be taken seriously by a banker. Now, the fourth thing, and we've already talked about this a little bit, is taxes, right? How do I reduce my taxes? What do I do to save money on taxes? Well, we've got your bank loan. We've increased your sales. We've fixed your cash flow. You got money coming in. And yes, we don't want it flowing back out to the IRS. We don't want it flowing back out to whatever state you happen to be in. So that's when we have to start putting in tax planning techniques and start thinking about how we're going to reduce that liability. And we're going to have very, very detailed seminars coming up on how to do that and how to treat it. The first thing we need to do is figure out your choice of entity and how we're going to treat your business, corporation, LLC, partnership, whatever. We'll figure it out. It all is very, very, very important that we understand your specific circumstances before we do that. And that's why it's important. You come in, you sit down with me, and let's go over your information and decide what you're going to do. A tax plan for a 25-year-old new in business is very different than somebody that's 60 years old and new in business. If you have 7 kids you want to support or you have to support, that's a different plan entirely too. What your exit strategy is, that is, of course, tax related. But it also has to do with your personal lifestyle, your legacy building, your family, whatever that is there. And we're very passionate here about making sure that happens and happens properly. We want you to take in and spend your money as efficiently as possible, and we will help you do that. I have a business building full of people here, and they work hard, and they come in early, and they stay late, and they work very, very, very hard, not for me, for you, for my clients, for my people that want to be successful. And they are personally involved with the success of your business, and they're going to make sure that you have the information to manage your business. So I'm intentionally kind of jumping around today because I want you to know there's so many aspects and so many different areas, and that's why you have to look at podcast number 2 and podcast number 3 and podcast number 7. And if you haven't figured it out yet, I will be very, 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 it will be very, very hard for me to run out of subjects to talk about in length and talk about in detail. And I do that for 2 reasons. One, because I want to see you be successful. And I want to put you on a path to success. And I want to help you every step of the way. And we're going to do that. And then number 2, I just like helping people. That's my life's calling. Helping small business has always been a passion of mine. It's always been people that I have wanted to help and I've liked help. What I like to tell people is that your small business is a very, very, very big deal to you. It's a big deal to your family. It's a big deal to your financial legacy. It's a big deal to your retirement. It's a big deal about getting your kids into and paying for college and getting them set up in their future careers. So let's make sure we do it properly. We don't want to, well, this is another, I'll go up to the subject a little bit. I have a friend once, and well, I have lots of friends, but anyway, there's one particular friend. No, I don't have that many friends, but there's one particular friend was talking to me about the difference between being good for somebody and being nice to somebody. Being nice to somebody, she said, is saying, oh yeah, all your stupid ideas are going to work, and I think it's great, and la la la, and everything is good, and everything is sunshine and rainbows. Being good to somebody is me going, no, you need to rethink that. I don't think that's worked. I don't think that's planned through. I don't think that's the right idea for you. And let's be good, and let's save you money by not making mistakes. And let me be the person that comes to you and tells you things that you need to hear. And I like to say I'll be more than happy to give you my opinion on 2 occasions: when you want it and when you don't. And to be perfectly candid with you, when you don't want it is probably when you need to be listening the most, because we're going to be good. I had a guy once, and he wanted to open a restaurant, and he was an engineer. And, it was his passion. He wanted to open one. He wanted to open this great Italian restaurant in some rural area. And I said, before you do that, why don't you do this? Invite all your new friends in your little small town together. Invite them to your house, cook them dinner, and see what they say. And, he made a homemade pizza, and he made his dough from scratch, and he made all kinds of crazy ingredients and worked hard and slaved together. And the comments he got from the small town is, your pizza's almost as good as Pizza Hut. And your Italian cooking is almost as good as one of the chain restaurants. And he called me Monday morning, and he was dejected and happy. He was dejected because he saw where his plan would have blown up in his face. But he was happy because and as he said, you saved me $500,000. Plus, I would have lost my career. I would have quit my job, and I would have had nothing, and I would have spent all my retirement. And just because that business idea I had sounded good to me, and you didn't just go along with me, you gave me the truth, and you were honest, and you gave me a path to figure it out for myself. And I think that's what I do. And having candid talks with people from time to time to either encourage or discourage is important. All right, well, here's I'll throw out another cliche, and, I have to do it. And what I say is, dreaming big is great, and everybody should dream big. No question about it. But sooner or later, you got to wake the hell up, get out of bed, and get to work and get started doing it. And dreams only come true if you make them happen. And your dream of business ownership, and your dream of success, and your dream of building a multi-generational business that people will talk about forever, that's got to start somewhere. But it's got to start on a solid, realistic foundation. Not many of us have the wherewithal to jump into a business totally unsure whether it's going to work or not, and completely willing to waste a tremendous amount of time, money, and energy into something that may or may not work. So let's try to be a little bit smart about it. And you know what? If it doesn't work, at least we went in properly, and we went in with a measured idea, and we thought about it, and we planned, and we were organized, and we got to where we needed to do. Let's see, we talked about this, we talked about this, we talked about all that stuff, and then we talked about that, and we mentioned it. What I would like from you guys now is just a little bit of feedback. Can you help me? I want you to help me first so I can start to help you. If you guys have topics you want to discuss, if you've got ideas that you want to hear from me, if you've got even guests, and yes, I'll have some guests in here from time to time. I'll have some experts in their field. I'll bring in some bankers occasionally. I'll bring in some financial advisors. I'll bring in some maybe business coaches of one type or another, just to provide you additional information and to reinforce everything about what you're doing and how you're doing it. Because we're going to make sure that my team becomes part of your team, and we create a path to success. And, I've seen business owners start a business, lose their life savings, and end up, working some retail job uh, because they've run out of options. And we don't want that to happen to you, especially if you're investing a lot of time, money, and energy into it. And frankly, if you're not willing to invest a lot of time, money, and energy, then whatever you are putting in, you're probably wasting. And we've seen a lot of success and a lot of failures. Hopefully, and one of the things that distresses me is I'll drive down the street, I'll see a business sign that says grand opening, and I'll pull in there and I'll give them my business card and I'll say, hey, listen, I help businesses, I help you be successful, I help you with your accounting and taxes and bookkeeping and overall financial management, and to be honest with you, business savvy. And I get that, oh, I'm good. And you walk out of the building and you turn around and look at it over your shoulder and say, this guy will be gone in 6 months, this guy will be gone in a year, this guy will be gone in 3 months. And then the saddest thing ever is you drive by 3 to 6 months later and that business is gone. It's disappeared. His life savings is down the drain. Her dream has been shattered because she didn't get the help, or he didn't get the help that he needed. I don't want that to be you. And if you haven't detected my passion for business owners, then I haven't done a good job with this introductory broadcast. So, but I think I have. I think you understand where I'm coming from and what I'm looking for and how I wish to help you. And and let's be candid, I want to make a little money too. So that's why we should all get together. We should get started. We should get going. But I said, I need help. Give me topics, and I'll help you with the topics. If anybody comes up with a name that isn't like totally vulgar, I'd appreciate hearing that. I think I have value, and I think I present value, and I probably should have thought of a name last night, but I didn't. All right. Well, anyway, my name is John Quattrocchi, and I'm a CPA in Marietta, Georgia. My cell phone number is 770-652-7000. My email address is johnq, JOHNQ, at JOHNQCPA.com. I'm available. If you have a restaurant, invite me over for lunch and we'll talk about your business. Anyone is welcome to come here, make an appointment, sit down and talk to me, and let's get going. And I know that your business is unique to you because you have so many unique features, you have unique goals, and you have a dream that we're going to help bring to reality by being precise. And as I said, what is properly measured can be effectively managed. I kind of stole and enhanced that little slogan from somebody a while back, but there you have it. All right, so listen, give me a call, come by, watch my podcast, subscribe to the channel if you like, and let's go ahead and